Good evening, you lot. How you all doing? So, just need to check that you can hear me, and then we'll get underway. So, ask me anything. I've got all your questions up here. A bit of an overview about me. My name is Brad. That's me up there. Well, not me. I'm here. And the guy who started for networking back in 2006. And back then, it was an interesting one in that networking was done in a particular way. Networking was done in a very formal, professional way. And you know, it worked up until that point. But I actually thought there could be a better way of doing networking. And that's why I started for networking. I needed a network to belong. I'm from Manchester. I live in Somerset. I didn't know anyone. And the networks of the time back in 2006, there was very, in political terms, loony left, where nothing quite happened. Then you had the hardcore right, where you had to attend, you had to do this, you had to do it. And I thought, where was the mainstream of networking? And it never quite existed until for networking came along. And that was nearly 13 years. 13 years. Can you just acknowledge you can hear me, please? That'd be great. That was 13 years ago, in December the 16th. I think, sorry, 13 years ago, February the 16th, that was it. February 16th, 2006, For Networking was born. And, you know, we're now 13 years in, and it continues to grow with aspirations, if not this year, of actually 2 territories globally. So it'd be fascinating if we end up, you know, going from where we was in the UK to international. And there's no logical reason why that can't be the case. Thank you, Daniel. All right, so I put on here today, Ask Me Anything, just for a bit of fun. I was out before, my mother-in-law's, and I thought I'd put it out there 7 hours ago. And I'm going to answer all your questions, whatever questions, cheers Jim Bob, whatever questions you've got, I'm going to answer them. First and foremost, I'm going to, on this thread that I put up before, me Ask Me Anything thread, I'm going to answer them first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer any other questions that are on here. So if you can just put your questions, by all means, in this thread, in the Ask Me Anything thread, which is on For Networking, that will allow us to keep them there. All right, Tristan John Griffiths, what's been your biggest challenge so far, and who helped you overcome it? I had a nervous breakdown 6 years ago, and you know, I didn't know what a nervous breakdown was. You know, you hear it bandied about and you've got no idea what it actually is. A nervous breakdown really meant I'd lost control of my mental faculties. The pressure of life, running a business, personal decisions, I'd kind of caught up with me. And it's one of the things that I teach now. I teach this whole thing, which is to be in control of your actions. To be actually in control of your actions and be aware of why you're doing anything. When I started for networking off, I did it to make a difference. You know, I also, I suppose, somewhere along the way, I did it because I wanted to make millions of pounds. And actually, that the focus on business success at any cost was what was my biggest challenge. And I was like, from my perspective, I'd lost control of myself. I was single-minded about, you know, that for networking needs to be a success. So much so that what ended up happening is I end up, if you think about resource, all my resource, mental faculties, energy, everything was thrown into for networking at the expense of myself. So I was overeating, I was bad sleep, I was taking sleeping tablets, I was drinking Red Bull throughout the day. And then, you know, this whole thing was just messed up. It was messed up. I wasn't seeing the wife and the children. So everything kind of got out of kilter. And and it all, back in 2012, and anyone who knows for networking, who was around that time, will have seen that there was things going on there. So it was the tip of the iceberg, really, that 2012 was my worst year, and I had a nervous breakdown. And really, for 2.5 years, I was in the wilderness in terms of mentally. I know it sounds crazy. I was still running the business, but I'd kind of unravelled. I'd lost who I was, and I wrote this book, this one here, Life Business Just Got Easier, at the time. And this is what people say. Actually, it's probably my best book. In that, what I'd done is I wrote that when I was really at my worst. But what that allowed me to do is get kind of really deep thoughts about who I was. And that then moved me on to this thing, this book, Now What? Which is having sorted out my life and my business and my head. Now what? you know, because that's what we like, you know, we for me, it was never about having a jet or, you know, or a yacht or so now what? And so my biggest challenge was a nervous breakdown, no question. Excuse me. Who helped me overcome it? Terry Cooper. Terry Cooper was continues to be my chairman. Exceptional fella, and he was there. He nursed me back to health. And I think it's really interesting. You should understand this as a business owner, that you can lose sight of you, and you kind of become a vessel for your business, that you just plow so much energy into your business that you kind of forgot why you started, because you just need to do that. All right, John Philip Miles. If your member of staff asks for structure, but you work an impulse, would you do otherwise? And ideas, John, you're very similar to me in that respect. I work on impulse and ideas. Some people need structure. My team, not necessarily for networking. I'm not involved in for networking now in any way or form on the day-to-day. There's an amazing team in place there with Mikey and Jay and Di and Della, all the team there, and they handle for networking. I'm not involved in for networking. Still majority shareholder, but I'm not involved in any way or form in the day-to-day with the organisation. My business, Brad Burton Limited, there's just me full-time and Pippa Hodge. She's just come on there now. And we work on impulse and ideas. And I think what we've done, we've learnt to be able to work like that. And every single time we've ever tried to expand the business, bringing people in who want more structure, it's been very difficult. So without me knowing about your business enough there, John, it'd be difficult for me to say that. However, what I would say is that for networking would not work without structure from a management perspective. So there's a balancing act here, is that when you first start out as a business, you're entrepreneurial, and as it gets bigger, to maintain that entrepreneurial spirit and that entrepreneurial way, whilst growing, is quite difficult. You do need structures and processes. But as an entrepreneur and as a business leader, impulse and ideas, fucking do never lose sight of them. Right. Andy Sharp, do hippos wake up wondering what day it is? It's a great question. I think what I'd say about that there is I think that people and humans don't wake up wondering what day it is. I don't think we put too much store on why we're doing things. I think we get on autopilot. I think we end up in autopilot and actually just go through, you know, the same day. We live the same day. We wake up in a minute, then becomes an hour becomes a day becomes a week becomes a month becomes a year becomes a life, and we don't realise why. And this is what I try to tell people. Look, stop, take control of your life. Take control of your life. Take control of your minutes. Take control of your hours. Take control of your days. You'll take control of your life. And this is what I did. I lost control of my life. I lost control of my life. I'm not joking when I say this. I had that nervous breakdown. And 2.5 years, 2.5 years of getting myself back. And I wondered whether I'd ever get my mojo back. And I'm Brad Burton, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, founder of For Networking. And even I questioned whether I'd broke myself like a catapult. Pull it back, you know, it goes shoo. But you pull it back too much, snaps. Next question. Mac, if you were advised, we're asking to advise the government about retail or small business, what would you suggest? I fucking love that. What a great question. Mac's an amazing copywriter. He's actually doing some work for me at the moment, Mac Malenga. So, what I would suggest is this. The way that we are going to get retail and small business working again, right, is... See, at the moment, everyone's blaming the government for the high street collapsing, HMV, and you know, all these businesses going kaput. We need to take responsibility. We, us, you, and your one-click purchase. Right? I'm telling you, you've got to take responsibility for it. Stop bitching that people are losing the jobs that you know. The reason they're losing the jobs is because I'm guilty as charged. One click, Amazon, turns up next day, 30% off, bush, lovely. And I would go after boycotting Amazon. I would get a campaign going, boycott Starbucks, #boycott Starbucks, boycott Amazon, and I would get behind that, and I would say, right, let's give these lot some fucking belly acid. Let's give these big boys who are not paying any taxes, let's give them some shit. Let's give them some people power shit. and take control of them like that, and actually shame them into start paying taxes. Because until we start getting them to pay taxes, until we start getting them to pay taxes, we're in trouble. We're in trouble on so many fronts. You know, I want more policing, because I think that fundamentally the core of society relies on policing. Because when people start feeling nervous, they start getting edgy and they start looking for, we need more policing. But that policing's got to come from somewhere. The money's got to come from somewhere. So the whole thing is self-perpetuating. We are in a new era right now, and I think that we are heading towards trouble. And in fact, me having a nervous breakdown, I was heading towards trouble for years before that. And yet I didn't see it. I didn't see it. My eyes were wide open. And I can see now as a society, we're heading towards big trouble. And this is why you've got, look at this, right? Religion's finished. Religion, whether you're religious or whatever, it certainly isn't like it was when I was growing up, 1982, 83, right? What would happen is, oh, I've got a problem. Hello, God, and I've got a problem. Now, people go on Google, we've got a problem. The days of looking towards deities, they're kind of drop down. So all of a sudden now, the amount of pressure that is on in the world, and as individuals, when you used to be into church or whatever, I mean, I was never religious, well, I was Roman Catholic, but never got confirmed. But people used to have a place to belong. They would go to church at weekend and they would see people that they'd see from socially, how are you doing? Okay. And you miss that because we're all hiding behind this. And I think that's one of the reasons why phone networking kind of works, because it's social animals. It gives us that connection that we once had. We don't go to the high street anymore. The local shops, we don't bother, because we do one click and it just arrives the next day. So we end up not going to the local post office. So we don't see the local post office or the local butcher, and we end up creating ourselves. We are walking ourselves down. And I think that is what I would do. I would shame these big companies into, with a social media campaign, boycott Starbucks, boycott Amazon, and actually get people behind it, get the debate going. That's what I would do. Okay. Do you still feel manly after the snip? I had a vasectomy last week. I'm going to answer any questions as straight as I can today. I had a vasectomy 2 weeks ago, and all this kind of stuff, where people said, oh, they were, you know, it was really painful. It was really painful. You know, getting a jab with a local anaesthetic in your gonad isn't fun. And for a brief moment, I felt sick. Do I feel manly? I still feel as manly and as full of testosterone as I always have done. So thank you for that, half sister. Right. Susie French, what change that made the most influence? What change that I've made has made the most influence on changing my life? Great question, Susie. We love you, by the way. I think you have a way about you, Susie, that is just effervescent. You just give life every time I meet you. You're one of those people who, you know, and I suppose I'm probably the kind of same sort of person. You don't see it, but you just give energy and positivity to people. So thank you for your question. What change have I made that's most made the influence on my life? You know, I am a street kid from Salford, right? I've been brought up in a council estate in Salford, Manchester. I don't have education, no education. And I always thought that that's what I was, a street kid from Salford. And that's all I could ever be. And then something changed in me, in that I stopped thinking like that, and I started thinking, actually, I can be better. I can be a better version of this street kid from Salford. And that's what I think the biggest change that I made this. Because if you think about this, like a hard drive, I've got a hard drive right now on my computer with Windows 10, okay? And I wouldn't have Windows 3.1 on my laptop. That wouldn't work. So an old operating system that you might have in here can work against you. So I changed my operating system. And consequently, I changed everything about me. By the way, talking about which, January 31st, Now What Live, Aston Villa Football Club. It's my all-day event, effectively. So if you're into this kind of stuff, you'll love the day. So sales pitch over. They put a link below, someone will, I'm sure. Okay. Vicky Head, what habits do you know you should change but you haven't yet? I'm working on one at the moment, Vicky, which is to lose weight. I am better than... I've not got a picture handy, unfortunately. Or maybe I have. Let me see. It's not a great one, but let's have... That's the old me, right? That was me at 30. So this book was written in 2010. So, you know, I was 2 stone, 3 stone heavier. And you know, my weight has always been an issue because growing up, Council Estates, Manchester, you know, you look at that whole thing there where, you know, you're working class, you've not got a lot of money. The idea of any kind of treat was always food, ice cream, sweets, because, you know, you've got no money. So my relationship with food has always been one of I love food. Celebrating, eat food. Pissed off, eat food. Hungry, eat food. Bored, eat food. But so I've had to detach my relationship with food a little, and because I'm a motivational speaker, and we can get to that in a bit, I've had to ensure that I look as best that a 45-year-old guy can, in order, you know. So when I'm presenting, it's important that I've got a presence about me, that I look good and look as best as I can, no hair and so forth. So that's the thing that I need to work on and continue to work on that. It's not, you know, I wake up pretty much fired up every single day, and we can talk about that as well. But that weight thing or eating, my relationship with food, it still requires work. Right, it's not that easy for me to. It still requires work from my perspective to not be the old Brad with the old mindset and the old the old hard drive and operating system, to not be that guy, the guy who wants to eat all the time. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment. Vicky Head, that was it. Right, Mike, if you came back a second time, animal, vegetable, or mineral, what would you be? I would like to be a. I think I'd like to be a lion. I'll just show you something. There. So that's my lion. This is my lion. Now what band? I mean, my daughter's head bubble. This is my eagle. This is my lion. These are the things that these are my omens. These keep me strong. These keep me. They're I would say guides, but they make me feel strong. Now, interestingly, let me tell you a story about these. I talked earlier to those people that tuned in that 6 years ago I had a nervous breakdown. I broke down mentally I was pushing and containing so many things going on all at once. And I did. And I had the tattoos done. I had the tattoos done to stop me quitting. I had the tattoos to stop me quitting for networking and calling the company a day. It was 3 days away from bankruptcy for networking. That's the reality of it. Mentally, I was gone. And if your leader's gone, that's you as a battalion or whatever is gone. You imagine your business right now. Okay? And then imagine if I could press a button and put you in a mindset where actually you can't think straight, where you're tearful, you're stressed out. On a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. You know, and then imagine me dropping some legals on you. Then imagine me dropping some social medias on you where people are calling you out all day long and just giving you shit. Imagine getting threats. Yeah, that's what happened to me. There was lots of stuff going on back then. And I needed to, and I wanted to quit. And that's why I got the tattoos, to ensure that I was unemployable, and it kept me going. And that's what I do. I help people keep going when actually they don't want to. Right? Because there's always got one more round left in you. Okay, red or brown sauce? What a great question, Matt. So, I just had a burger before, vegan burger, ironically, and I had tomato sauce in it. When it comes to a bacon butter, brown sauce. So, I am torn. It's a bit like saying choose one of your favourite kids. You know, you can't. Okay, who are you? Mark Harrison. I'm the guy who started 4 Networking off. I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. I'm the highest rated business author on Amazon. And actually, fundamentally, below all that, I'm just a normal bloke. A normal bloke who's actually got control of his head and actually got control and a benign heart who wants to make a positive difference. That's who I am. Linda, what's the best decision you've ever made? Starting my own business was the best decision I ever made. And that took me probably 8 years to genuinely start feeling the benefit of that consistently. I had these little blips and little flashes of brilliance and flashes that everything was going to be okay, but it probably took about 8 years, maybe even 9 years before I started. So best decision I've ever made was to start my own business off. I think that when I walked out of that job back in 2004, I ended up, my wife was furious with that decision. And for many, many years, she quite fear-based, she was upset with that decision. So not only am I trying to run a business with no money, 25 grand in personal debt, I've also got shit from the wife. So I get it, I get all of it. But it was the best decision I ever made. And I'm now in a really enviable position that I am, that I'm happy. I think that's the thing, I'm happy. All this business success, poor network connection, just record it 1 second. All this business success is that people do. They get it all twisted. See, it isn't success if what you're doing isn't making you happy. I don't care how much money you've got. I am as happy as I can possibly be. Right? It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you said to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being happy, 1 being miserable, go back to when I had the nervous breakdown 6 years ago. I was 1, 1.5, and then gradually sort of going up over 2.5 years. I'm like now a 9 or a 10 on average every single day, maybe an 8.5 in terms of how happy I am. I've got no real goals or aspirations, right, if I'm honest, other than to make a positive difference. So none of this, I want a jet, I want this, that and the other, which is conventionally where business owners, I believe, go wrong, because they end up chasing these dreams that other people foist on them. And you end up being unhappy. I'll give you an example. If I said to you, whatever your dream is, and you said, I want a brand new Bugatti, right? You want a brand new Bugatti. And I'd say to you, why do you want a brand new Bugatti? Well, because I love the way they look, and okay, what else? And you keep asking that question, why do you want a Bugatti? Okay, because the way they look, why? And eventually you get to the point, and the point is, the reason I want a Bugatti is because when you were 7, you got locked in a coal shed by your dad, who said you'd never amount to anything. And it is nothing to do with wanting a Bugatti. And this is what people get it all wrong. They get it all wrong, chasing this stuff that they don't really want. They think they want it, but they don't really want it. Anything that we all want is happy. We all want to be happy. Now, if you can get happy first, where I am, and then you can make a load of money, then it's great. If you make a load of money and you're unhappy, then that's when you start doing things like running off with lap dancers, having affairs, taking drugs, because you're unhappy. Because what we end up doing is when we are geared up to be happy, but when you're unhappy and you've got money, then what you do is find fun. When you're unhappy and you've got money, you find fun. And we confuse fun with happy. Fun gets you in trouble. So the whole thing that I'm about with people is get them happy first. Get you happy. Get you internally happy and balanced and cool. Then we can build the business. But when people go, yay, success coaches, we can make millions of money, great, you make loads of money and you're not happy? Fucking hell. You are just opening yourself up for more trouble. So, that was my best advice. The best thing I ever did. What's the best advice you ever took? Tristan John Griffiths. Probably the best advice I ever got was from my friend Roy Hurley, and he's still a friend to this day. I met him back in 2003, 2002 on a computer game forum. Back in the day, we played a game called Laser Squad, and Roy runs his own mining firm, and he continues to run it over in Australia. And we got talking, and we became friends. And he actually came over to meet me, and he said to me, Brad, you don't realise how special you are. I don't understand what you mean. He said, your enthusiasm, everything about you is amazing. Don't get it. Because I didn't have any belief in myself. So he was the one who bounced me into starting my business off. He said to me, what's your biggest fear? I said, my biggest fear is if I start a business off and I can't pay my mortgage. And he said, okay. He said, I've got no doubt in you. He says, start your business off, and if you can't pay your mortgage, I'll pay it for you. What's the risk? And I went, there's none. Go on. That was it. And guess what? I never needed to rely on him. But by having a safety net there when you first needed it, do you see? So Roy was the best bit of advice to start a business off. And I owe him this. I owe him my world. I owe him my life. Because the life and the Brad Burton that you see here is and for networking, the platform that we're talking on now, is a direct result of Roy Hurley. If Roy Hurley would not have said that back in the day, nah, there would be none of this. No books, no Brad Burton, the UK's number one motivational speaker, none of that. So it's fascinating. Rachel Chiverton, love our Rachel. Why don't you like open networking at 4 networking meetings? I think the question, well, I think, ironically, I wouldn't say I was an extrovert, even though I come across as it. I think walking into rooms full of strangers and having to kind of win them over, that's my job, ironically, with the speaking. But I think, put it this way, I think I've changed somewhat on that now. And I think that the open networking bit is my least favourite bit, although I think it's probably the most important to acclimatise yourself. The whole format of 4 networking was designed by me, in that you look at this whole thing here, this open networking is designed that you can come between, so you can leave it to the last minute, or you can come at the start, and it's really to ease yourself into it so that you start talking and so forth. It's probably my least favourite bit of a 4 networking meeting, but I would say it's the most essential. Jason Kelwick, if I was a girl, would you? Quite possibly, Jason. I'm not sure what specifically we're asking there, but certainly in the old days, yes, I probably would have. Duncan Meredith, Teddy Johnson and Pearl Cow won the Eurovision Song Contest in 1955. What was the title of their song? Before my time there, Duncan, but thanks for a great question. Stephen Wade, when did Coventry City last win the FA Cup? Once again, another hilarious trick question. John Denler, what would you actually do if you only had 6 months to live? Well, let me explain something for those people that know me. Yesterday, I visited 2 4 networkers, Andrew Mogford and Andrew Von Gortel. Both of which have less than 6 months to live. They're both 4 networkers and both members of my Now What Club. They have less than 6 months to live. They have months at the very best case scenario. Over the course of the last few years, when I've had dealings with both Andrews, they have changed their lives because of their teachings that I share with them. I, with my Now What Club and my Now What Lives, have been absolutely fucking hardcore with this. Is that too many of us? I'm going to show you something. Stay there. I'm going to keep talking, but I'm just going to drag some up on screen. Too many of us waste time on shit that doesn't matter. Because one day, whatever problem you've got on in your life right now isn't going to matter. The bill you paid, the invoice that's outstanding, the client you just lost, it's not going to matter. And I have got used to being able to deal with the fact that I am on a finite time, that we are all on a finite time, and I don't waste time or life like I once did. So in answer to that question, if I had 6 months right now remaining, and I was given a firm 6 months remaining, I would spend more time with my children, and I'm good with that now. But what I would do is I would set up a legacy piece, and I've got several, but I would do either a video, or I would do a book, or so I would do something, probably a 10-minute video. A 10-minute video sharing this, what I'm about to share with you now, because this is sort of slide from the next Now What Live, and it's one that I always use. So some people might have seen it, but it's as important as ever. Now understand this, that those 2 Andrews I went to see, am I still here? Because I've got Andy saying, eek, I've gone, frozen. Have a look. Let me know I'm back. Let me know I'm back, people. Let me know I'm back. Thank you, Andy. Can you just, a couple of people just let me know I'm back, please? Thank you. So what I'm about to show you is a slide which I've used at Now What for the last 2 years. And it's one that you need to understand that both Andrews, who are now terminally ill, have seen this slide. Both Andrews have changed their life as a result of me and what I've shared with them. This. Where do you draw the line? When's a good time to say, do, or make? Because we end up, look at this, this is me, this is my line now. This is where I believe I am in this, and I'm hoping that one day I can get here. But there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees because we all want to live to 88-year-old, 97, in good health, grandkids and so forth. I get it, Andy. I'll see you in Now What Live. But the point I'm making is this. I am living my life as if I've got 6 months left. And I have been doing for many, many years when I realised I nearly lost it all. Mentally, emotionally, the lot. Financially, I nearly lost it all. And consequently, I changed. I realised that what was important. And what is important is not money. It is not business success. Don't get me wrong, on the scale of, yeah, it's okay, I get it. Fucking hell, should have more money than less. Yes, no problem. Yes. But my priorities right now is 1, health, 2, family, 3, business. Back in the day, 1, business, 2, family, 3, health. Consequently, nervous breakdown, nearly lost everything. And this is what I teach people. And this is why I'm so unique in the space. There is no one out there. And let me tell you something. When I started 4 networking off, everyone then decided to copy 4 networking. Started all this off, get off your arse to book. Guess what? Everyone's now, fucking calling the book fuck it and I'm not to give a fuck. All this, lots of people have followed me. And next year or this year, I'm telling you, everyone's going to be following this whole vibe that I'm on. Everyone's going to be following all this, oh yeah, it's all about mental health and well-being. It's not. The difference is, I've been on this one for years and I believe it. And I'm not just doing it to make money. That's the difference. That's the fucking difference. Right, so that's what I'd do there, John. I would live as I am, but I'd make a 10-minute thing. I'll come back to these questions in a second. What would the best toy in Kinder Surprise? Gary Jones, great question. I remember, and I tried to find it 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I, as a child, opened up a Kinder Surprise, and within it was a silver helicopter. A silver helicopter. I always remember it. It had 3 pieces. Silver helicopter. And I tried Googling it to find a silver helicopter. It was amazing. So I'd love to find my silver helicopter there. If you are interested, by the way, like I say, we've got my Now What Live event, January 31st, 4 speakers, including Darren Stanton, the human lie detector, Jamie Moore, former European boxing champion. And actually, Jamie Moore was at Madison Square Garden in the corner of the Rocky Moore fight recently, last week or whenever it was. So he's a top boxer. And also we've got Gary Turner. Gary Turner is the founder and the managing director of Zero, £60 million business. And he's also there along. And he's got a whole suite of other surprises on the day. January 31st, get your 2019 off to a flying start. Now What Live? So, next question. What's the one question you hope no one asks? There's things in my background that actually, in fact, there's only one thing in my background that nobody really knows. And I'll tell you something, there's someone online right now who actually does know about it. Pippa Hodge, my right-hand lady, who works alongside me, co-director, soon to be announced. Pippa, I've got no secrets. There is nothing that I wish nobody could ask. You could ask me whatever you wanted and I would answer you as honestly as I could possibly be. So by all means, feel free to ask. So one thing that wouldn't be fair for me to talk about. So Pippa knows about that. Right. Andrew Pritchard, how about coming to Marbella in 2019 for a joint venture event? Andrew, my point is with joint venture events, right, is that there's a reason people want joint venture events is because I'm Brad Burton, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, highest rated 5-star business author, and also I'm the founder of 4 Networking. They don't want joint ventures because somewhere along the way, it's my boy's good looks. I don't do joint ventures. I just don't. However, what I do is we do get paid for me to come to speak at events and to appear and to help and support events. So if you're interested in me supporting your event, absolutely. If you're interested in me to come to speak at your event, absolutely. In Marbella, perfect. Speak to our Pippa at bradburton.biz. So Andrew would love to go over there. Graham Todd, why did I vote leave? I voted leave because when did borders become a bad thing? Like, 4 Networking members, or Now What Club members, we have limited resource. Now, if you look at me going yesterday to go and visit, Andrew Mogford, Andrew Von Gortel yesterday, both suffering from terminal cancer. They are 4 Networking members. They are Now What Club members. Okay, and consequently, I'm looking after them. If someone was dealing with their own problems that I didn't know, or they're not within my borders, how can I be responsible for them? So there's got to be a line drawn, and I don't understand why having borders, and also not only having borders, but also being responsible for your own leadership, right? I'm responsible ultimately for not necessarily for networking, that's dealt with by Jay and Michael. But Now What? I'm responsible for Now What? I'm responsible for everything that happens within it. Ultimately, it lies with me. Someone has to be the gaffer, and I've not got other personal development people telling me how to run Now What? Because I understand the populace, I understand the people within the Now What Club better than anything. So principally, that's the bit. That's the reason that I did it. And, there has to be a point when the country right now cannot afford to put police in, when the country can't afford to deal with, because there we go, we've got another problem. No taxes, because everyone's doing Amazon. So the taxes and the high street's going, jobs are going, so therefore more benefits are needed. I've done 4 years of benefits. So more benefits are needed, more depression, more crime is happening, less police, more drugs because people are pissed off, more drinking, more alcoholism. Fucking hell, something's got to change. Nobody could say that the way it was before was great. And I understand that all this Brexit is going to be a fucking mess. I get it, of course it is. But this is the problem in life, in that what we end up doing is we're halfway in and halfway out. And actually, if you look at this whole thing, when you look at when I walked out of a job 2006, my wife did not want me to do that. And I was flim-flamming. But I was resolute, and for many, many years, it's caused me mad consternation and mad pain for me to have walked out with no security, and everything was dangerous. And look at it now, 14 years on. Most people would be envious and say, I'd love to have what he's got. And that is because I had my own Brexit, because I pushed through, because I believed in it. And I think that's what we've got. We've got a situation. It's not fucking... I've come from a socialist background completely, left wing as a result of growing up in a council estate and everything that's associated with that. And as I've come through, I've gone more right wing because of right leaning, right? So then you've got this whole thing where you've got this from a kid to this. I'm so centrist, and if you look at what we've done with 4 Networking, it was always intended to be that. It was the new Labour of business networking, not loony left where nothing happens, not hard right, you've got to attend. It was this mainstream, and I've got a mainstream approach to everything. But I'm really realistic that actually appeasement and actually doing a halfway house, halfway in, halfway out, doesn't work. So yes, Brexit is going to be a fucking mess. Going to be a mess. But so was my life when I walked out of a job. So was my life for many, many years. And actually, once you get through it, so whatever you view on it, you've got to let democracy do its thing. Because it's down to democracy now. The people have voted. As slight as it is, it still doesn't make no odds. You can go and run a marathon. You can run a marathon. Somebody comes in at 2 minutes, 2 hours, 1 minute. And somebody comes in at 2 hours, 1 minute and 1 second. Somebody's coming second, somebody's coming first. That's how it is. That's how life is. And I tell you something, we've got to let democracy and these politicians that are fucking about, you've got to let them do it thing. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. But one day, dust always settles, as my mentor, Crush Crosby, says to me. Dust always settles, grass always grows again. We're not going to be talking about Brexit in 100 years' time. We're not going to be talking about Brexit in 10 years' time or 5 years' time. All right, move on. So, what offends me? I'll tell you what offends me. People like giving it out, and then when it comes back and they call a fight on and it comes back twice as bad, now then they start going, oh, white flag out, bully, this is not, no. What I meant was, that offends me. People causing problems, and then when it comes back the other way, and then it's, it's not the fun bit that they thought it was. That offends me. That offends me. Why do you have dogs, not cats? We do have cats. I've got 2 dogs. I've got 2 cats. I did have a third one. Went on holiday, didn't return. Devastated. What happened? What are your non-negotiables for people who are just starting up their new business? Do not think that you can buy your way through a business. Don't think that you starting a business off and you can just throw a load of money at advertising, Facebook automation, ClickFunnels, and fix it. You can't, right? What you should do when you start a business off is make mistakes on bare minimum. Don't get involved with this like believing that someone can open up a world and just make your business easier. Because the people out there that be ready to hook you in, business coaches, okay, that's really interesting. I love what you're saying there. Okay. Well, I think what we could probably do is, bullshit. Make your mistakes on your own money. That's my view. Where's the keys to the handcuffs? I'd like to leave the basement now, please. Hilarious, Carl Ford, another Now What Club member. If you're a fruit, what banana would you be? Genuine asked the girl this very question. I have no idea, a yellow one. Right, why do I swear so much? Graham, you know what? If you don't like it, look, the reality is I swear because I want to swear. It's my life. I just spent the day yesterday with 2 people whose lives are at the end of their lives. I couldn't give a fuck that I swear so much because, in all fairness, your opinion doesn't have any impact on my life, right? About who I am, what I stand for. Okay, I swear because I do. That's me, right? And I'm being honest about that. We spend so much time in our life pretending to be someone we're not, or appeasing other people and watching what we say, and we don't want to piss them off, and we don't that we become a vanilla version of ourselves. We become a person that we even forget who we are because osmosis about all these people. I'll give an example. Back in the day, 2006, for networking at Bridgewater, the first group. The girl, my first ever employer, a girl called Abby Gouge, amazing. Her and I worked so close for 5 years. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I owe her so much, Abby. She was a waitress at the venue where For Networking had the first For Networking. They also had a B&I on the Wednesday. For Networking was on the Thursday, B&I was on the Wednesday. She was a waitress. Before she came to work for me, she was a waitress there. That's how I met her. How I met her is funny. I was having some food and she came up to me. She was a waitress and she was gobby. And she said to me, I was having a business meeting. She said, can I say something to you? I said, sure. She went, you look like a chipmunk. You know when a chipmunk eats like food and you've got like nuts there? And I'm like, this waitress has just said this in front of a client. I went, thanks for that. I thought, that's my girl. She ended up working with me. And she said to me, she went, what was crazy about it? She said, people who were at For Networking would also go to B&I. Those people were so fun and buoyant at For Networking, then they'd go to the B&I on the Wednesday and they'd be formal and they'd be angry and they'd be snotty. So you end up becoming what you surround yourself with. Now, me, I swear, sorry about that, I'm not a mass murderer, right? I'm a benign guy. And actually, if it puts people off, I would rather it fucked people off and they fucked off and they didn't get to be around me. You know, they're not around me. They're not my sort of people. If I upset people, that's okay because there's a big wide world out there of people that don't get upset by it. So I create my tribe. I create my tribe around me. People who like me for being me, including the swears. How'd you get over the times when you felt defeated? Charlie, that's a great question. I got over the times when I felt defeated, this is not about money. See, once it all becomes about money, you end up not being able to get over the defeat. So I'll give you an example. Whoever watching this, whatever your goal is, financial goal, think about your car, think about your house. I want you to just think about it now. And I come to you and go, boom, get punched in the mouth. Go, right, you still want your dream? You say, yeah, boom. And again, do you still want your dream? Boom. And again, do you still want your dream? Boom. And again, do you still want your dream? And we keep going. And eventually you go, you know what? Actually, I don't want it. If I said to you about your family, right? Do you still want your family? Yes. Do you still want? Do you see what I'm saying? So I've tuned everything. I've tuned all my focus and energy into making a positive difference. This is not about me. Because when it's about me, that's when I'd go, you know what? I'm going to go smoke some bongs back in the day. So my vision, my mission, when it's got tough and I felt defeated, it's always been about my family. It's always been about those friends. It's always been about the Andrews. That's why I become as invincible as one man can be. Because my focus is more than money. And if your only motivation is money, you've just lost. And yet that's the danger, is that we are taught by these success coaches, money, 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 money. I'm telling you, it's not enough. You look at, bad example. I was going to get into 9/11 then. But nonetheless, the point I'm making is this, that actually you don't need to have that. This is your most powerful tool that will get you through anything. And it will allow you to overcome the biggest of adversities. The bees have needs, no idea. When you deliver pizzas, did you deliver free ones? No, but what I used to get was a discount, and I could never, I think you got 20% discount or whatever. I used to do this like garlic bread with cheese and pepperoni for £1 on a shift. That's how I did it. So I didn't have a pizza. I always have a garlic bread was like a cheaper pizza, effectively. That's what I did on the thingy. What inspired the Now What Club? So my Now What Club, right, there's the questions on there. What I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to come back to all these questions on here. And I don't know if Pip is still on. If she is, if you could scroll and post the questions, Pips, that would be great. If you're not, I'll have to do it myself. Stuart Howe, what inspired the Now What Club? Bless. I see too many people in business and life getting it wrong. I really do. Even those hyper successful ones are getting it wrong. And the reason I know this is because I got it wrong. I got it wrong. And nobody could have told me. Because I would have... in fact, my friend Roy tried to tell me. Don't worry, Pips, I'll do it. I'll do it. My friend Roy tried to tell me that I was doing it wrong. And I disregarded him and I ignored him. And consequently, I ended up unravelling. So Now What Club is about people that actually want to have true success. Not success, where you get ill, but true success. True success. True success. And it starts with you being happy. Once you become happy and content and realise that your world that you're in is not just... don't worry, Pips. Well, it's not just you that is having self-doubt, imposter syndrome, so that's why I started the Now What Club. But Now What Club, every single day, for those that don't know, every single day, Monday to Friday, I give a task that works, a task that has been tried and tested from experience, which if you do, will move you forward. Business, emotionally, mentally, and so forth. I am trying to get everyone, there you go, Stu. I'm trying to get everyone to get this mindset. If I could get a USB cable in my head and download my mindset, my current mindset to you, would that make you more or less successful? More. Well, that's exactly what I do at the Now What Club. No sales pitch, nowwhatclub.rocks. If you're interested, check it out. So, questions. I'm going to have to scroll all the way down here and I'm going to get to these questions here. All right, and keep them coming. I'm going to answer. Thank you so much there, Tristan, as regards that great community. Right, what... I can never pronounce that. Kieran, I think it is. Kieran O'Reilly. What is found the best way of advertising this word of mouth? You know, I can tell you now, I have never come across a single advertising campaign or advert that if I spend £1,000, I'll get 1,001 back. In 14 years of business, give me 1,000 quid and I could not, honestly, say to you, give me 1,000 quid, I'll get you 1,001 back. Just couldn't. So this is the most economical way that you've got your word of mouth, and that's what we've got with Flow Networking. So advertising, so talking and hyping and talking stuff up. Thanks for sharing. Well done getting through it. Who helped you most at a tough time? Tristan, good couple of friends. One, Terry Cooper, chairman of Flow Networking, and Steph Thomas. Steph Thomas, network retreat guru, personal friend of mine, author of 3 books. He helped me through, there's some war stories that can never be told. They just can't. But I tell you something right now, I owe Steph Thomas a lot. I got a blood bond with that kid in that he helped me through when actually I was out, genuinely out. And smelling salts. Come on, Brad, you've got to go back out there, even though you don't want to. How to keep a strong mindset? Now what club, Ollie? Genuinely, mate, every single day is that I recognise that when I've not got a strong mindset, I've not got a strong mindset. I don't have to be, and I'll go to bed, or I'll say, right, it's good. I'm not in that fighting mind today. Don't do it. Go and play some computer games. But what ends up happening, and this is what happens, you become inefficient because you think that it's all hustle and grind and and I need to be working. It's work hours. You stay there. You're not efficient. You're feeling like shit when actually you should be resting, because intensity is as important as relaxation. But we get it all twisted. So when I've not got a strong mindset, I accept I've not got a strong mindset and go and do something else. Right. Hey, sexy hunk, it's your mad hello, buddy. It's Paddy Morris. To be sure. Right, we needed to support small shops. Boots. What do you think of a new watch design? Not seeing it there, Con, I'm afraid. Let me explain something. I am not on social media. Sorry, I'm not on Facebook ordinarily like I used to be. I'm just not. I end up burning out, and my focus is pure and simple on Now What Club and 200 members within that. That's where you'll see me hanging out. I just don't see the normal world. And can you imagine every hour, or roughly, I get 100 notifications. Right? So people go, oh, you never come back to me. Pfft, mate, because you just give me this fucking much thingy. You're not a member of my club, and actually I don't know you. So you just go and give me 3 paragraphs and you want a response. You know, you're sat there and I'm watching Patella and doing your set of thing, and I'm busy. So, I've not seen it there, Connor, but I've got big respect for you. Got one of your watches, thank you. Sarah, how do you bring energy to your presentations when you're not really feeling it on the side? Great question. And actually what I do, I'm like a boxer in that I have to feel it on the side. So this month I've got 2 gigs, Snap-on Tools, 750 people, Rico Arena, 2720, I don't even know, it's in my diary. So what I will do is on the run up to that, come the 4 days out, I'm like a boxer. I've got myself a ritual. Teeth whitener. I go and get a teeth whitener. I go on the sunbeds. I go to the gym. I've got a certain thing. I'll drink water the day before. Go get there early. Go and just the side thing. Go and sit there with my drum and bass music on there. You've got 2 minutes to go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Wallop, boom. So I've got myself a ritual. I'm like a boxer. I am like a boxer. Friends of mine are professional boxers, and they're exactly the same. They work down. Now, what I've got as a boxer doesn't have a fight, and then 2 days later he's got another one. Welcome to my world. There was times last year when I'm getting booked like 5, 6, 7 times to go and speak at proper events. So this month I'm at Snap-on Tools, Rico Arena, 750 people. Then we'll be at now 150 people over in Aston Villa, 31st. Andy Mickenas. How can you blame big companies working the system? Whoa, hey Andrew, I ain't blaming nothing. Isn't it it's a job for the government to change policy? Well, yes, but the problem is we're looking towards the government to fix everything, and it's not. If and I could get everyone behind it today to say boycott Starbucks, and we managed to get a campaign going, right, and it all retweeted and shared, people would boycott Starbucks, and they'd be shamed into paying taxes. They would. Someone's got to fucking do it. I'm not got a fucking heart for it, to be honest. But you see what I'm saying? Because I'm all right, Jack. And that's the problem. But looking towards the government, it's too large and sprawling for it to make any sensible sense. Diane, I just want to tell you about my 17, 18-year-old thing. Started doing graphic design. I was reading your books at the moment, but need some help too. Diane, look, the reality is get him in the Now What Club, right? And I mean it in the nicest possible way, in that I can't help everyone. This is where I burnt myself out. right? I genuinely, that 100 notifications thing is I was responding to every one of them as fulfilled and as best I could. And then you get a response and then back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I was burning myself out. And you know, when you go on a plane, they say in the event of an emergency, place your own oxygen mask on before you help others. I've got to keep myself strong. So if your boy is serious about his graphic design, I would be willing to do a contra with him. All right, I'd be willing for him to try some of his graphic design stuff, and I would give him membership in return so he could trial him out. Good opportunity. Could end up with me as a client, or at the very least getting in our club for a couple of months. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're interested in that, email pippa@bradburton.biz there, Diane. Good on you, Lisa, for having that one. Maurice, unless the government changes rules, there will be somebody, yep. Brown sauce all the way. What's your business? Ben, what's my business? My business is for networking. I started for networking off 2006. I also motivational speaker. I run my own personal development club. A book author and just general all-round good guy. So check out bradburton.biz there, Ben. Funny, see, people don't know who I am. That's the other thing about this. You know, I heard before Christmas, I've outgrown the network. Bullshit. What's happened here is your ego's outgrown the network and you think you're bigger than you actually are. Let me tell you something. I've not outgrown this network. It's a bit like saying I've outgrown breathing, I've outgrown going to have a bath, I've outgrown, eating. Foolishness, people. Those people that have done that and gone over on phone networking and run phone networking down and saying they're outgrown phone networking. Foolish, because I get to hear everything. And those people that have outgrown phone networking, their businesses are not outgrowing anymore. They're restricting. Why do you think that is? Because you cut yourself off from the network, the very network that was providing you that confidence for you to say you've outgrown it. Nuts. But it's interesting there, Ben, that you don't know who I am, and that's precisely why I do these things on occasion. Darren Stanton is one of our speakers. He is the human lie detector, former copper, and he can tell when you're lying. Small little micro movements. I don't know. He's speaking at the Now What Live 31st January, so come see them. It's about happiness. It so is. I used to want a Lambo. Stuart, look, I'm going to be getting this IA, it's a wonderful car. And it's not about, I'm not saying don't have nice things, right? I'm not saying don't have nice things. What I'm saying is before you get these nice things that you're chasing, get yourself right. Get yourself nice. Because until you're nice with yourself, I promise you're just creating problems. So true. Right, hello, Mr. B. Hey, Gaz. Right, eat, you've gone frozen. Right, hello, handsome fella. Right, don't you think the best way is to have what you want, you can then get out of the way and then you can move on? Don't you think the best way is to have what you want, you can then get it out of the way? And yeah, I mean, totally. And but the thing is, when's enough? And what I mean by that is, back in the day when I first become new money, I'd go out and I'd go and buy 6 bottles of champagne, that Vive Clique, I can't even pronounce it, the orange label. 6 bottles of champagne. Come on, everyone. And then you get another 6. When's it end? And then before you know it, you spent £1,000 on a night out. Well, I used to live on £2,400 a year. So this stuff you end up over-consuming because you can. But I'll tell you something, I'd rather not earn the money to over-consume. And I'd rather be happy with what I've got. And if I want to go and have a bottle of champagne, great, I'll go and buy it. But not feel like I need to continually do the next big thing, get the next car, get the next big holiday, It's the road to ruin, not the road to success. Right. But if you built it once and if you lost it all, you could do it again. Maurice, this is it. This is the biggest tool I have, this experience. And what an expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. I've made them all when it comes to small business. Okay. Marbella, danger, Graham Todd. The video's playing catch up. You're right. I got shot at for a long period. That was correct. And mate, when you've flown tornadoes for the RAF, you don't have to listen to any cocksucker who decides they want to run you down. And trust me. As an alpha male, right, I will to someone like you, because actually, you are hyper intelligent and hyper dangerous because you've got to be if you're a RF tornado pilot. So you don't have to listen to anyone. You don't have to listen to anyone. No one. So, phone networking is fun. Painting my nails, shut laptop. Do you have a mentor? Yeah, I've got two mentors. I've got Ian Dixon. Ian Dixon is my business coach, and he's fabulous. Ian is fabulous. He really is amazing, man. And what's ironic about that is he didn't like me and I didn't like him. Phone networking member for 5 years, and we hated each other. Now he's a great friend of mine, like truly a great friend like that. And he comes and stays over here and stuff. So Ian's my business coach, Ian Dixon. Go and find him. And my mindset coach, Crosley, has given me so much of this new Brad is down to Cros and his teachings. He saw potential in me. He's like he managed to bring out this piece about that actually there was a better version of me, and I didn't know there was a better version of me within me. I thought I was the best I could be, and he showed me 3 years ago, and by pure fluke, that there's a better version of me that I'm more considered, less aggressive, ironically, less shoot first, ask questions later kind of Brad. I'm a guy now who will not, let me explain. Last year, I caught for so much shit that was unjust and unfair, completely unjust and unfair. No amount of rational debate or argument or evidence would have made it any less unfair. Nor would it have changed the state. So the old Brad would have got out there and I'd have got dirty. I didn't. For the first time in my life, I'd got myself a blue lightsaber, right? In Star Wars terms. And actually, you can come at me with your big red one and start chopping and hacking, and then just ding, 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 and they just burnt themselves out. And they've alienated themselves. Every single one of them has alienated themselves. For what? For nothing. For a made-up situation. A made-up, manufactured set of bullshit for people's own personal agendas. I know what I am, right? I know what I am. I'm really comfortable with who I am. I'm a benign guy who wants to make a positive difference. And some people out there will pretend that they're benign guys and they don't want to make a positive difference. And all they want to do is kick people's sandcastles over because they are pissed off with their own life and with their own ineptitude and their own failings. I was that guy. That's why I recognise it. Maybe 10 years ago, whatever it was. Back in 2003, I created mayhem for a company. I did something that was wrong. I was that guy. And in 2011, I made contact with the managing director of that company and I apologised to him. I went out of my way to find him over in Bulgaria and I apologised for what I did 8-9 years before. And I told him I owe him my loyalty and I will do anything to make it right now because I fucked up. I was an arsehole. And he has a favour that he can call in at any time and I will do it. That's what I saw last year. I saw a load of people who were weak bullying and hiding behind a veneer of decency. It was disgusting. And like I say, what's really interesting is my life's great. My life is absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. And I've gone on from strength to strength, complete with my blue lightsaber. So, Now What Club, everyone, Now What Club yet, so that's fine. I'll pop a link on here. I think I need a ritual. I will tell them to join our club. Go down to friends. I'm fantastic. Pippa, hold me into. Good on you, Andy. I'm looking forward to meeting you again under different circumstances. Best thing I ever did. I knew you would think that. Stop freezing. How's the I8? Not got it yet, Andy. I'll explain. It's happening in April. Hi, Hanson. We built. Here we go. Maurice, hi Hanson, you built for networking and I built a multi-million-pound business on the back of it. You're the coolest guy I know and thank you. Well, thank you so much, Maurice. Get yourself in the club, 30 quid a month. Ben, classic example of pendulum theory. A negative can't stay there, it will move to a positive. Just as Ian moved from hating to love, prospects are the same. Love that one. Ben, I've just got your text message here. I've not given up on it at all, far from it. Nothing to do with that, right? it's just from a timing perspective, it doesn't make any sense, and I explained to you. So me and you, like that, sorted, good. Lisa, I often share your advice and tips with my beautiful voice. Wonderful. Lisa, I have your tattoo. Look at that. How wonderful is that? This is as a result of your thingamajigs. Wonderful. So thank you so much. I carry my children with me. All right, so there we have it. That was fun, and I've straight from the hip. I've been really honest. Really honest about as much as I could. I'm going to leave it there rather than now dragging out further questions. It's 8:05. I'm going to go and I think I'm probably going to have some brandy. In fact, some rum. Some Beechcraft rum. Now What Club members, Beechcraft rum. There you go. See, we look after our members. Please, 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 please. Like I say, if you are interested, anyone who's in on this, okay, I'll do something now. Anyone who's in on this, join nowwhatclub.rocks. Now 30 quid a month. The price is going up at the end of the month to 39 quid. Join nowwhatclub.rocks right now. And actually, if you truly don't believe it's as good as what you call it, truly don't believe it's as good as I am saying it is, I'll give you money back, like in 30 days time. If you said to me, listen, fucking, it's shit, you talking out your ass, it's not moving me forward, I'll give you money back. So you've got nothing to lose. Join nowwhatclub.rocks right now, and I'll give you your money back if you think it's shit in 30 days time. Absolute no quibble. We'll ask you, why do you think, but we'll give you money back. Promise you. Ben, great name, by the way. My boy's called Ben. Ben Davies, what's the best way to get in touch with me? Ben, I would ask you to get in touch with Pippa. Pippa, oh, you're coming, John. Brilliant. Pippa at bradburton.biz. Pippa at bradburton.biz there, Ben, in order to get hold of me. Like I say, she's my triage, because otherwise I end up with 100 million people. I've really enjoyed that. I've genuinely really enjoyed that there. So thank you for sharing the Saturday evening. I know it's a Saturday evening, but gives me a real sense of purpose and a real sense of pride to have an audience, a respectful audience, 12, 13 years in a phone networking, that somewhere along the way, people from around the UK have all connected, and the impact that this networking organisation has had, and the team, Jay and Mike, have done a great job and continue to do a great job. And I'm so proud, that it allows me to then get on and do my other stuff while phone networking grows and prospers. All the best, squad. Pippa. Oh, good on you, Ben. Pippa, direct to Pippa. But we don't tell anyone about that day till the 31st. It's our secret, kid. Pippa Hodge, by the way, amazing. Like, genuinely amazing. I have been very fortunate to have found her. Like, really, I'm living over in Somerset, to have found Bridgewater, to have found someone so amazing who just gets me. My second wife. All right, squad, see you in a bit. Bye. Out.